We just want to make sure we keep a clear line here. Um, for those of you that this is the first time you're hearing Dr. Billy Alsbrooks, you're in for a real treat. For those of you, this is you've been here before. You've heard him. You've been to the events. It's still going to be an amazing treat because again, I have heard him speak probably 20 plus, 30 plus times, and it gets a new message out of it each and every time that I hear him. So I'm really excited for each of you, no matter how many times you heard him speak, or if this is your very first time. But let me tell you a little bit about him. He's just a YouTube sensation and really streaming all over the world, over 80 million streams that he has in 71 countries. His book has been sold in 32 different countries, over 128 tour dates. Why is he doing that? Because he has this mission of 1 billion people that he wants to impact. And in order to do that, you are going nonstop and you're using all the resources available to you. And that's exactly what he's doing. And today is just another one of those times that he's using a platform to make a huge difference in the lives of so many others. So, but ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Dr. Billy Alsbrooks.
Thank you, Barry, for having me today. I just want to give a big shout out to everybody who's in here today. I know God's got a plan. I don't think that anyone in this group here today is here by mistake. I believe God has got a plan for you. I believe there's something you need to hear today that's going to unlock something in your future. This is going to be your best year yet. Come on, somebody. This is going to be your best year yet. I'm declaring and I'm prophesying right now in Jesus' name. This is going to be the best year yet. Now, listen, whenever you can grow, thrive, or multiply, the enemy will attack. Come on, somebody. Now, listen, as believers, once you understand who you are in God, once you understand Christ said on the cross, it is finished. Once you understand that you already have victory, you do not fear warfare. Come on, somebody. For the Lord didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. And we are going to rock 2024. Come on, somebody. Anybody excited for 24? Raise your hand if you're excited for 24. Okay. This is your time. This is your season. Now, if you hadn't heard me before on YouTube, I'm going to let you know right now, I'm not the happy day Ron Howard type of motivational speaker. Okay, what I mean by that is I'm not going to come in here and say everything's going to be good every day and it's going to be sunshine and rainbows, because we know that's not the way it is, right? The struggle is real, but so is the God that will help us overcome it, okay? Now listen, God still moves. Somebody needs to hear that in this room. God still moves, okay? Now we're going to kick this year off right. And the way we're going to do that is this. I'm going to start with the right context. I'm going to give you three things today that will impact your life. And if you apply them, you'll bear fruit, right? Whenever we tap into a truth, a biblical truth, we will produce fruit, okay? Now, here's the thing. If we want to change the world, first we must change ourselves, right? First we must change ourselves. Now, how do we do that? Okay, change starts with asking a new set of questions, introducing new questions into our mental environment, right? Because questions will take you wherever you want to go. You just got to ask the right question. I'll repeat that again. Questions will take you wherever you want to go. You just got to ask the right question. Now, listen, common people ask common questions. That's why they're common. The greats, the overcomers, the warriors, the champions, the high achievers, the entrepreneurs, they ask better questions, more empowering questions, right? Now, this is the way it goes. Questions steer your focus, right? And your focus gives ways to emotions, the way you feel, right? And the way you feel determines the action or the lack of actions that you take. So we can change our life merely by introducing new questions into the arena. Right now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start this off right. I'm going to give you a question right here from the get-go. So I need every one of you to get a pen or a pencil and something to write with, because I'm going to give you some work today. Oh, y'all thought it was going to be no work today. No. We're going to do some work today. Come on. Now, listen, here's what I'm going to do with these questions, though. These questions aren't designed necessarily, that I'm going to give you today, not necessarily designed to make you feel comfortable. Success has nothing to do with comfort. Success has nothing to do with comfort. Understand that. Your success potential will always be equivalent to the level you're willing to be uneasy. Okay, so write this question out first. How uneasy am I willing to be? That's going to determine how far you can go in life. That's going to determine how much God can use you, how much responsibility he can give you. How uneasy are you willing to be? How uneasy are you willing to be? It starts right there. Okay, now here's your second question. We're going to start off with this one. How do you define success? How do you define success? Now, I don't want you to necessarily write these answers down now. I just want you to write them down, write the questions down. And when we get off this Zoom, I want you to get into your prayer time and meditate on these things I'm going to give you. Okay. Now, the three things, here's number one that I'm going to give you out of the three things. Number one, if you want change in your life, it starts with vision. You have to get a clear vision for what you want in life. Now, everything I'm going to give you today is backed up by biblical truths, okay? The scripture says, where there is no vision, the people perish, right? So here's the question. What is your vision for 2024? What is your vision for 2024? Now, let's define vision. You say, what is vision? Vision is a mental blueprint. It's a 4K high definition mental image of what you want your life to look like. Now, listen, most people don't have a vision for their life. This is why they're constantly walking around in a state of chaos. Where there is no vision, there are voids, and the enemy will seek to fill those voids. You study any of the greats in history, anybody that has changed the world had a vision, a strong, powerful vision, and you need one too. If you ask the common person, hey, what's your vision for your life? They're going to say, I got 2020. No, not that kind of vision. What kind of vision do you have for your life? Most people never ask these questions. They're on autopilot, living somebody else's vision, because that's what happens. If you don't have a vision for your life, you'll be working for somebody else to build their vision, right? It's time for you to get your vision for your life. Ask God to show you what he has planned for you. Let him reveal the dream that's on the inside. Ask him to give birth to that thing so that you can see it in your mind. Now, if you can't see it here in the mental realm, you'll never see it out here in the physical realm. Now, everybody, as I mentioned before, everybody that's ever achieved something great for humanity has done it with a vision. Look, Martin Luther King started out and said, I have a dream, right? That's a vision, right? JFK said we will go to the moon by the end of the decade. That's a vision. Right? Steve Jobs said, I have a vision for putting a computer in everybody's pocket. Now, I'm doing this right now on an iPhone, on his vision, right? Elon Musk says, I have a vision for electric cars. I have a vision to go to Mars by the end of this decade, right? Mark Zuckerberg said, I have a vision for connecting the whole world. Now we have Facebook. So what is going to be your vision? Now, listen, you need to take every single area of your life and you need to bring it into order. You need to get a clear vision for every single area. And I'm going to give you the 7 areas that you need a vision for, okay? Every single area. Okay, it starts with this, health. Write this down. What is my vision for my health? Finances. Your marriage. Your relationships. Your professional life. Your job, right? Your professional life. Your spiritual walk. And last but not least, impact. Now, you need a clear vision in 2024 for each of these areas. Do not go into 24 without knowing what it is that you want. You've got to get a clear, defined image, mental representation of what you want to achieve this year. If it's healing you need, right? Let's say the doctor gives you a bad report. Hey, you got cancer. Well, the first thing you got to do is get the mental image of you already being healed. You got to see the word manifested in you in the mental realm. What does the word say? Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You have to see it in your mind first. If it's sobriety you're trying to achieve, you got to see yourself sober here first. If it's becoming financially independent, liberated, from financial burdens, you have to see it here first. Every single area. You must define what you want in life. You must define it. Now, listen, I'll give you a couple illustrations of this. Okay, when I get flying into a city with the tour that I'm on, right? I fly into a city. I'll get my bags at the airport. First thing I do is go to the rideshare app. I'll open up Uber or Lyft, and it asks me a question. It says, "Where do you want to go?" right? I don't just get in a taxi or an Uber or Lyft and say, just take me somewhere, right? I have to clearly define where it is I want to go. And once I do that, what happens? The app begins to route me the way there, right? So it will map it out. Once you decide where you want to go, life will begin to map it out for you. We don't need to know right now how we're going to do it. I just want you to define where you want to go first. Okay, we have to define that first. Now, there's a lot of lessons in Uber, right? Like we define where we want to go, it maps it out. And here's the thing, if we're on the way there and we get off track, it'll reroute us and bring us back, right? Because sometimes we get off the track. But if we got the vision so strong in our mind, if that vision is there, it will be the compass that will lead us to it. Okay. Now, here's another thing with Uber, another good lesson. Once you define where you want to go and it maps it out underneath there, it gives you ways that you get to choose how you arrive there. If I want to go the cheap economy comfort way, or if I want to go the luxury black car way, right? You get to choose in life what level of commitment and how you want to go. You get to choose this thing. But first, it starts with defining where you want to go. Here's another example. A few years ago, I built a house down in Central Florida. We go to see the builder. The first thing is to go see the builder, right? We walk in and the man goes behind his desk and pulls out some paperwork and lays it on the counter. And he said, listen, before we can start building, I need you to answer these 150 questions, right? And I'm like, 150 questions? What is this for? He said, yeah, we need to know what kind of house you want us to build. Like on the question, it was like, what kind of house do you want? You want a 3-bedroom, 5-bedroom? You want a 2-story, 3-story, 1-story, corner lot, riverfront, gated community by the ocean? What is it that you want? Do you want tile, carpet, granite? What color paint? We had to decide all of these things before the builder started. They didn't just show up to my land, right, with a 2x4, some nails and a hammer and say, we hope we build something that you like. No, they build from a blueprint. You should never buy a house that wasn't built from a blueprint. Matter of fact, they won't certify a house that wasn't built with a blueprint. And you shouldn't live your life without a blueprint. And the blueprint is getting a vision, defining clearly what it is that you want. Now, I'm gonna give you a great example about getting, something so clear in your mind that you want and how you can just do so many things that other people call impossible. See, whatever you stay focused on long enough, you can achieve. So when you decide what it is you want here, then I need you to capture it down on paper. The scripture says this: write the vision and make it plain so he that read it can run with it, right? So you define up here what it is you want, and then you begin to map it out down on paper. That's what I need you to do this year. I need you to operate from the paper, from the vision. And you keep this vision in front of you constantly. I want you staring at it at all times. Let me give you a great example. I wear this everywhere I go. I'm on this tour. I wear this everywhere I go. When I get up in the morning, the first thing I put on is this. Now, what is this? This is my vision, right? This is my first book, Blessed and Unstoppable. And this is the one that's about to come out right now. See, look, I've been working on this thing for almost 5 years, 3 books. But every single day, I got up and I knew what I'm getting up for. I keep my vision in front of me. Whatever you keep in front of you, you're going to continue to move toward, right? Broken focus. Somebody needs to hear this. Broken focus is the #1 reason for failure. Broken focus. Right? You got to keep your eyes straight ahead. Like the word said, keep your eyes on the prize. Map this thing out. Now, I'm gonna give you an illustration, a powerful illustration. This lady reached out to me. She was a realtor, had a real estate team. And she said, we were in business last year. It was our first year in business, and we did really good. We did $3 million the first year. We won all the awards locally, Realtor, Rookie of the Year, all this stuff. The organization did really good. They did $3 million the first year. She came to me, she said, Billy, my dreams are bigger than $3 million. She said, do you think we could do 12 million next year? And I said this to her, it's not really what.
Well, I'm not saying
Somebody needs to be
a motivation speaker.
Okay.
Find out who that is there, baby. There we go. So we come in and she asked me, she says, do you think we can do 12 million next year? And I said, first of all, let me stop you right there. First of all, it's not whether I believe you can do 12 million or not. The question is, do you believe you can do 12 million or not? You don't need anybody else's permission to live the dream that God put in your heart. Come on, somebody. If God put this in your heart, you don't need anybody else's validation. You don't need anybody else around you to say you can do it. The question is, do you want to do it? And how bad do you want to do it? And are you committed to doing it? This is what I asked her. And she said, we want to do it. We're excited. We want to do this thing. We just don't know if we can do it. I said, you can do it. I said, do you really want it? She said, yes. I said, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to gather your team, get them together Monday in the office, and I'm going to come and I'm going to show you how to get to 12 million. I'm going to show you how to go from 3 million to 12 million, right? So I come in on Monday. She's got the team already. They all got their notes out. They're ready to, learn this big lesson they think I'm going to give them. They think I'm going to give the 5-hour seminar like I normally do, but I'm not. Today, all I'm going to give them is 5 minutes because that's all they need. For where they're at, this is all they need to do it. I walk in and I say, okay, now, you see over here on the wall, the empty wall right here? What I want you to do is I want you to print out a 3-foot size poster with just the number 12 on it. Nothing else, just the number 12. Really, really massive. So whoever comes in to this office sees this number 12. I said, everything in your office, I went to their desk. I said, needs the number 12 on it. Everything in the lobby needs the number 12 on it. Your sticky note should have the number 12 on it. You should have a sticky note on your mirror in your car, an air freshener in your car that says 12. When you're taking out clients and they say, what's the number 12 for? You say, we're going to 12 million. You got to get your whole team focused and channeled in one direction to meeting this goal. When you get on the Zoom in the morning with your real estate team, I want you to say, good morning, 12. And when you get off the Zoom, I want you to say, goodbye, 12. When you cut off the lights at night from grinding at 10 o'clock at night, achieving this thing, I want you to say, good night, 12. I want you all rallying around this number, this 12. Right? Now, they did everything I told them to do. They overhauled the whole place and just put 12 everywhere. On the back of their real estate shirts, it looked like they were wearing jerseys, had the number 12. Now, she calls me in December, like 11 months later. And she said, Billy, we didn't achieve 12. We didn't do 12 million this year. She said, we did 14. Come on, somebody. We did 14. And then she follows with, she said, now, I don't want to get greedy, Billy. But do you think next year we can do 21? I said, it's not whether I think you can do 21. Do you think you can do 21? I said, do you want to do 21? She said, yeah. I said, okay, I'll be there Monday. I'm going to show you how to go from 12 to 21. So I come in on Monday. She got the team there. They got the pencils out. They ready to go. They ready to get the lesson. First thing I do when I walk over to the big poster that was up there, that was still up there from 11 months earlier. I say, you see this number 12 right here? We need to get another poster, flip it around where it says 21. I said, everything in this office needs to say 21. Take the 12 down. The 12 is old. The 12 is gone. We're going to 21. Put the knickknacks on the table. The sticky notes all rearranged to 21. The air fresheners 21. The shirts 21. The business cards 21. You should have that on everything. 21. That's all we need to see. 21. When you speak, it's 21. That's the language. Come on. Now, I told her this. I said, some of y'all in this room, though, won't be here when you achieve 21 because all of y'all not 21. Some of you are 12. Some of you are 3. Listen, the same people that got you to this level won't necessarily be the same people that will be with you when you go to the next level. Not everybody's qualified where God is about to take you. Come on, somebody. Listen, now, they might want to go, but everybody don't have a ticket. Everybody ain't got a ticket. Everybody's not willing to pay the price. I say this, success is available to everybody, but not everybody is willing to pay the price. Here's the question. Write this down on your paper. Am I willing to pay the price? Now listen, the difference between a vision, a dream, right, and a fairy tale. What's the difference? I'm going to tell you right here. It's the commitment behind it. The commitment behind it. That's the only difference. I want you to get something that you're willing to put everything you have on the line for. Everything. Listen to me. God put a dream in me, impact 1 billion people. Right? I could see the dream. I went all the way to the end of my life to the headstone that they're going to put in the ground. When I go in the ground, I know the headstone already. It said, here lies a champion who set the world on fire with truth and impacted positively 1 billion people. right? I'm very clear on why I am here. When I get up in there every day in the morning, there's no like, confusion. I don't get up and be like, what I want to do today. I do the same thing every day. I get up and say, how can I impact the world? I know exactly what I'm here. My vision is clear. You need that type of clarity. Listen, clarity is power. The one who has the most clarity commands the room. It's not about the stripes or the titles or any of that. It's about clarity. Clarity is power. Because here's what happens. I'm going to give you the science behind it. Once you decide what it is that you want, you become consolidated on the inside. You become consolidated. You become gravity. And the things that are required to build that dream that's on the inside will begin to come into your orbits. The things you need, the people you need, the resources you need, everything that's required will begin to move toward you. Anything in your life you want right now that you don't have, it's because you haven't got clear enough about it. Come on, somebody, you got to see it. The dream has to be so big in your mind that it has no place to go but into the physical. Dream beyond your mind, so much so that it has to come into the physical. Have no room for anything else in your mind but the thing that God has planted in you. Come on, somebody. See, I don't have to worry about getting in trouble anymore. Back in the old days growing up, I used to get in lots of trouble. Why? Because I had no vision. There was a lot of free time. They say that the free time is the devil's playground, right? I ain't got time for that now. You understand? My dream, my day is so caught up in doing my thing. Anything that's not going to bring me to that doesn't have a way into my life. Do you understand that? Right? I don't have to worry about addiction. Why? Because my dream ain't got no room for addiction in my life. My dream ain't got no room for the wrong people in my life. That's the power of vision. What is it that you want? I say this on the videos. I say vision is the genesis of all greatness. Vision is the genesis of all greatness. What is it that you want? Now, listen, I want you to do this. I want you to write down your goals for 24. Reach and stretch. And here's the thing, too. Somebody needs to hear this. You need to stop downsizing God. Come on. I don't want you writing out your goals and ambitions and dreams this year, your vision this year, to the level of your own ability. I want you to write these dreams out equivalent to the God that you serve. Come on, somebody. Because if you set them to your level, you're going to dream too small. I want you to put this on your paper. Stop dreaming small. Write that down right now. Stop dreaming small. You serve a bigger God than that. I want you to dream so big when it happens, everybody in the world knows that you couldn't do it. So they say, how did you do it? And you say, let me tell you about my God. Come on, somebody. Because see, if you dream of your ability, how does God get into glory when you achieve it? Everybody knows you could have done that, right? Dream beyond you, right? Let God get involved. God gets so excited when you invite him to the table. Come on. So he's just waiting. He's like, put me in. I'm ready. Come on, somebody. I dare you to dream big. I dare you to dream big. That's what God is saying. I dare you to dream big. I'm so ready to get involved in your life. No more small time thinking. Big city dreams outgrowing small town people. Oh, come on. I got to get my dream bigger, so we can bring God more glory. Because see, your wins, your victories, your overcoming, your testimony, that's the marketing strategy for the kingdom. When somebody sees you succeed, they come and say, how did you did it? And you say, let me tell you about my God. Right? When they see you move in to that mansion, right? And they knew 3 years ago you got foreclosed on. They say, how did you do it? Then three years ago you get foreclosed. Let me tell you about my God. This is what you tell them. Nobody writes a better comeback story than God. Right? When they see you jump out of that new foreign at the gas station. Man, didn't you get your car repoed a couple years back? I used to have to take you to work. You say, let me tell you about my God. See, your victories, your overcoming. Right? When you overcome stage 4 cancer, they said, the doctor said, nobody ever did it. How did you do it? You said, let me tell you about my God. Come on, somebody. This is the type of vision. This is the type of life I want you to live. On my videos, for my events, I start the videos out for the commercial. I started out with this question. It says, are you living life or is life living you? Write that down. Am I living life or is life living me? Now, the beauty of this right here is it doesn't really matter right now if you're not where you want to be. God is not concerned with what mistakes you made in the past. God is concerned what you do from this moment forward. That's all that matters. Here's how we're going to divide your life, okay? And we're going to divide your life into 2 parts. Before this Zoom, like before BC, before this Zoom and after the Zoom. Because God is about to do a new thing. Right? There's a part of the scripture that says the second half will be greater than the first. Your best days are ahead of you. Somebody needs to hear that. Your best days are ahead of you. Come on. There's another verse that said, I'll put a new song in your mouth. Baby, we all gonna be singing in 24. New songs, new seasons, new grind, new victories, new testimonies. Come on now. This is your time. This is your season. Anybody ready for that? Come on, somebody. Amen. Amen. All right. Now let's go to number 2. We start out with vision. Number 2, we're going to go to this. Find a way to add value. Write that down. This is about value. Find a way to add value to the world. I'm going to show you an illustration. I learned this from being out on my tour. Okay. When I do these seminars, in these different cities I go to, they're like 5-hour events. When we get done with the event, I always, shake everybody's hand, interact with everybody, ask if they have any questions, any way I can help them. Right now, I learned a lesson from doing this, man. I learned $1 billion lesson just by observing. Okay, just by observing. Okay, here's what would happen. I'd go around, shake everybody's hand through the room, but in the beginning, I didn't notice it, right? I didn't catch it at first, but it happened over and over and over. And finally, I started saying, hey, I hear this everywhere I go, right? And I'm going to show you what happened. Everywhere I go, somebody that I would shake the hands of, right? At each event, somebody that I would shake the hand to, we would do the introduction. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I really appreciate your videos, appreciate the seminar, man. I just want to ask you a question. And they would say, how can I add value to your life? Right. And the first time I heard him, this guy asked me that question, the first time I'd ever heard it, this guy asked it to me. And I didn't really get the gist of what he was saying. But I was like, oh, that's a powerful question, right? I didn't really understand the power that he just gave me and the wisdom he just asked me, right? And I said, man, that's a good question. I'd have asked that in the seminar, right? Boom, tap him up, go to the next event. Same thing. I'm around shaking hands at the event. Another guy comes up to me and he said, hey, man, I really appreciate what you're doing. I just want to ask you this, man. How can I add value to your life? I was like, hey, do you know so-and-so in New York? He just asked me that same question last week. He's like, no, I don't know. Okay. I said, okay. So I go to the next city. Same thing, shaking hands. Appreciate y'all coming out today. Same thing. Guy says, man, Billy, I really appreciate your work. I just want to know, man, how can I add value to your life? Now, I heard this like 5, 6, 7 times. And I went back to God and I said, hold on now. This is not a coincidence. You are trying to teach me something through this, and I don't know what it is. Give me revelation on this. I pray. Give me revelation on this, Lord. What are you trying to give me through that question? There's no coincidence that 7 different people ask me the same question that don't know each other. Why? What is this? And then I realized it. The question came to me. God said, what do all the ones that asked you that question, what did they all have in common? And I thought about it for a second. And I remember the conversation with each and every one of them. Every single one of them were millionaires that asked me that question. And I realized, money chases value. Common people chase money. The wealthy, the wise, the Solomons of today add value to the world, right? Now, I want you to write this question down. How can I add value to the world? The common person seeks the job, a paycheck. The wealthy, the rich, the financially free seek a way to add value. Right now, you need to connect this to your vision. The vision needs to be more than just money. It needs to be connected to you adding value to the world. And if you add enough value to the world, you'll be wealthy beyond belief. Now, I'm going to give you the 3 things inside this value technique that will make you financially free. Listen, we need more believers. We need more righteous people financially free so that you can go out there and impact the world. If you're having to do 12 hours a day, every day doing a job you don't like, you can't go out there and do kingdom work. Come on, somebody. We need to get you free financially so we can get to the real living, to get out there and make that impact. Right? If you're a slave to a job or a paycheck, you can't get out there and do God's work. We need to liberate you financially so that you can get out there and change the world. We don't need to be waiting on others to change it. Talking about the government changing it. We need to change. You understand? If we really want change, we must usher it in. We got to stop waiting on other people to do what God has already empowered us to do. Come on, somebody. What does it say in the scriptures? Remember the Lord thy God, for it is him that gives you the power to gain wealth. And he gives you that power by way of wisdom, right? By wisdom. And I'm going to give it to you. There's three things inside this. First thing, write this down. What am I most passionate about? What am I most passionate about? Now, listen, this is a clue to your calling. The successful people, every single one of them that I know, and I go all around the world speaking in Fortune 500 companies, the ones that are super successful are all on fire for what they're doing. Not one of them ever told me that was making that kind of, not one of them ever told me, man, I'm just lukewarm. I'm just doing this to, to pay bills. Not one of them ever said, I'm just, getting by. This just pays the bills. Not one of them. They said, man, I'm on fire for what I do. You know what I'm saying? That's where it starts. You got to start with fire, passion. Contrary to popular belief, you cannot think your way to the top. You must burn your way there. That's why I titled this right here, Burning. Come on, you got to burn. What's your passion? What did God design you to do? Whatever you get excited for, whatever brings you to tears, whatever upsets you, these are clues to your calling. You've been called to bring in change to those things. First, it starts with passion, finding out what your talents, your gifts, your natural abilities are, things that God gave you that he didn't give somebody else. Each one of you in this group today, I'm gonna tell you right now, each one of you has something that only you can give to the world. Every single one of you. Don't let the enemy lie to you and say you don't have any value. Every single one of you got a calling, got a purpose, got a plan, or you wouldn't be here. God didn't waste moves. Come on. God don't waste moves. If you're here, he's got a plan for you. So I need you to understand yourself first. Start with your passion. What are your gifts? What are your talents? Now, we're going to move to the second part of this value equation. Okay, the second part is this question here. Write this question down. How can I package up my passion in a way that adds value to the world? See, now you take your passion and you say, now, how do I deliver this in a way that fills people's needs, right? That solves problems. Money is just a reward for solving problems. This is why we pay people, man. If I got a mechanic issue, I pay a mechanic. He solves my problem. If I got an AC issue, I pay him to come in here and change my AC out. He solves my problem. If I'm looking for a house, I call a realtor. The realtor solves my problem. That's all money is. Okay, so we got to figure out how to take our passions, package it up in a way that delivers value. And I'll give you an example with me. Okay, look, I love these things, the things that I'm on fire for. I'm on fire for God. I'm on fire for personal development. I'm on fire for greatness. I love champions. I love leadership, right? I love entrepreneurship. I love creativity. Okay, so I took all the things that I'm super passionate about and put them in the pot, one pot. And I said, well, how can I add value to the world? I love teaching. I love seeing people break through. I love people winning. I love to be in the presence of people that are overcoming, right? So here's what happened. Look, I packaged up this gift, right? Like in this book. This book right here has got 31 success principles in it. I packaged up what I am passionate about in a way that serves other people. There's other people that want to know the laws to success. The thing right here says your blueprint for success, right? There's people that say, hey, I want to be successful. I just don't know what to do. I don't know what I need to, how do I get started? Right? And I laid that out in the book. So here's what happened. I took my passion, packaged it up in a way that showed people how to achieve their dreams, right? I package it up in a way to add value to their life. Same thing with YouTube. I take these same messages like out of the book and I package them up into daily messages, weekly messages on YouTube. So when you say, hey, man, I need, my problem right now is, man, I need to get motivated, okay? Well, I add value by these videos that help you stay motivated, right? So I take that and YouTube, because I'm adding value to you, YouTube pays me a revenue stream for every time you watch the video. Right, so package up your passion in a way that adds value.
I think you should join it.
Now, the last thing you need to do, you need to bring in this one other element, and most people fail to reach financial liberation, financial freedom, because they don't do this third step. A lot of people are doing their passion. A lot of people are adding value, but if you forget this third step, you're limited. Now, the third step is leverage. Write this down: leverage. You got to leverage other people's time, money, networks, knowledge, resources. Come on, somebody. There's only so much. Like, I want to impact 1 billion people. I cannot do this one-on-one, right? Like here today, me and Barry are coming together, leveraging each other's resources to do this event here today to impact your life, right? I leverage YouTube's millions and millions and hundreds of millions of followers in order to achieve my purpose, right? I use that network. I use Amazon's network to get this book out across the world to 32 companies. YouTube, I'm on 171 countries. I use them. Same thing with Spotify. I use their network, right? You gotta get outside of that one-on-one thing. Listen, the reason why common people cannot grasp how people become millionaires is because they are trying to add their way to 1 million. You can't add your way to 1 million. You must multiply your way to 1 million, right? And the scripture says this: Isaac planted his crops that year and he harvested 100 times more grain than he planted. More grain than he planted. For the Lord blessed him and his wealth continued to grow. He says times. He didn't say 100 plus, right? He said 100 times. You must multiply your way. And the only way to do that is use other people's resources, other people's network, right? If I impact Barry and Barry goes out there and impacts 5 million people, I'm a part of that. You understand that? Right? So we got to use other people's networks, other people's resources. Now, here's a great example. I got a buddy here in San Antonio. Now, I'm going to show you what happens when you neglect this third part, okay? I got this guy in San Antonio who is a gourmet chef and he loves to cook. And he's amazingly gifted at food. He is a food artist. Listen to me. He makes the best burger, I would say, in the state of Texas. Okay? Now listen, and everybody loves, and my mouth is watering right now even talking about this. But listen, everybody loves his burger. Okay, so he started out with, what am I passionate about? He's passionate about food. So here's what he did. How can I add value? So here's what he did. He went and bought a food truck, right? And every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he parks right across from McDonald's, right down the street from this club. And when people get out of the club at night, he's sitting there and people hungry. He solves that need, right? He solves that problem. I'm hungry when I come out the club. Okay, boom. He's got their hamburger. He's got the need for them, right? But the only problem is he's got one truck and he's the cook. He's the only cook. It's just, he's got a leverage network of one. You can't get you 1 million that way. Now, listen, this man makes good money, but he's not financially free. He makes 6 figures. He makes over $100,000 cooking those burgers, but he'll never be truly financially free because if he can't work on Friday himself, that money stops. He's got a leverage of one. Like most people only got one income. Right? You need 7, 8. It talks about that in there. Solomon talks about spread your money out 7 to 8 because you never know what's going to happen, right? You need more than one income, right? And most millionaires have 7 to 8 passive income streams. Okay, you need more than just you. You know, when I think of my buddy, the one with the food truck, he parks right across the street from McDonald's. Now listen, at that time of night, everybody that comes, they come to him. Now the McDonald's is open 24 hours, but they come to him because he's got the better burger, right? But here's the thing I see when I look across the street underneath McDonald's sign. It says billions served. Billions. Why? Because they got 100,000 franchises all over the world. You understand that? And my buddy's just got the one food truck. He might have the better burger, but he doesn't have the better business plan. He doesn't have the better leverage. He doesn't have the better structure. He does not have a plan that is going to bring him financial freedom. You must incorporate leverage to your equation. Value and leverage. Listen to me. Value and leverage. Now, I had this. Let me show you the power of value. People don't underestimate value. Don't underestimate. This will take you to the top. I had this guy that booked me to come speak in Hawaii named Tony. He's the CEO of this mortgage company, right? And they specifically target veterans because he was a former Marine. Now, he started out working a job at a mortgage place, right? But he didn't like the way they were treating veterans because, you know, he felt like he could treat them better. They just didn't treat veterans the way, you know, he thought it should be done. So he started his own mortgage brokership, right? Now, when he started out, he had no money and it was just him. right? So he's thinking, how do I compete with all these people? It's just me, and I don't even have money to market. I don't have anything but me. So where do I start? He said he meditated it on 2 days. And then he finally figured it out. He said, listen, here's my plan. Here's my strategy. Here's the way I'm going to win. This is it. He said, I'm going to adopt a philosophy, a doctrine of adding value. And this philosophy will take me where I want to go. Now, here's what he said. He had one client when he started. It was just a friend of his that was kind of like, hey, I'll let you do my mortgage. Just kind of like a free, he's doing him a favor. So Tony said to me, he said, this is how I started, and this is how I became a $1 billion company in 3 years. This is how I went from just owning a job to start my own business, in 3 years later, having a $1 billion company. This is the way I did it with the doctrine of value. He said, I am going to treat this one customer that I have, just the one customer that I have, I am going to add more value to his life than anybody else can do it. Anybody. I am going to be the #1 value broker in this city, right? No one's going to be able to treat this guy better than me. He said, and this is what I'm banking on. If I treat him that way, and if I add this kind of value to his life, he'll go out and tell 10 other people the job that I did for him. And I'll take him and turn him into 10. And I'll do the same thing to every one of those 10. I will add value. And those 10 will turn into 100, and then I'll have a business. And he said, that's exactly what happened. I added value, and they started spreading the word. He said, and before, like within 3 months, I was having to hire other agents. He said, now I've got 120 agents just right here in Honolulu. And when I came to speak to his staff, he was already in 40 states across the U.S. in 3 years. The value, the doctrine, the principle of adding value works. Now listen, I'm going to show you something that change your life. Everybody for the next 7 days that comes into your sphere, like of presence, okay? Everybody comes into your presence, no matter where you're at, I want you to ask them this question. How can I add value to your life? How can I add value to your life? And I mean it. Because here's what you're gonna find out when you ask this question consistently. You're gonna find out that there's some niches, there's some things out there, some needs out there that are not being met, right? And you can fill them. If you ask that question enough, you'll find your niche. You'll find your way to $1 million. You'll find your way to financial freedom. Just keep asking that question. I had another guy that came to my seminar. I challenged him with this. I said, hey, for the next 7 days, I want you to ask everybody you know this question. How can I add value to your life? So here's what he said. He went home. Like the seminar was on Sunday. He went home Monday. He got out of his Rolodex and he called every previous client that he had in the last 2 years. He called them on the phone and he said, hey, I appreciate your business. I appreciate you choosing me. He said, I just want to ask you this question. Is there any other way that I can add value to your life? And he said, man, you would not believe the results. He said, I made an extra $400,000 in 3 days just by calling these people back and asking them this one single question. Now, listen, sometimes the thing people need, you can't necessarily personally provide, but hey, you know people, right? You know people, maybe somebody comes to Barry and they already got the house deal, but they don't have the funding. They come to Barry and say, Barry's not necessarily going to do the funding, but hey, he knows somebody. Hey, I got you. I'll connect you. When you become a connector, you become a person of influence. Money gravitates, resources, power gravitates toward network and people who got resources. Come on, the scripture says basically this: what you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. Come on now. Add value. If you do this enough, money will stalk you. You'll have so much. It'll be that pressed down, shaken together, running over. This is rooted in the scripture right here. Do unto others as you would have do unto you. If you were in a need, you'd want somebody to help you with that need. Same with you. If they've got a need, you need to help them. Come on. That's your ticket. That's your ticket. Ask that question and you'll thank me later. I promise you. Add value. Now, number 3, the third thing I'm going to give you today is this. Write this down. Own the 30. Own the 30. Now, I'm going to explain what that means. I was at the seminar here in San Antonio. And just like I was telling you before, I was shaking everybody's hands after the event. And this young guy, though, he was like 29, almost 30 years old, comes up to me, right? And he's shaking my hand. He said, hey, I just want to thank you. Your videos have impacted my life. I just want to ask you a question. How can I add value to your life? And I was really, really shocked, though, because this guy was about 20 years younger than anybody else who had asked me that question. And I was like, oh, I said, I'll be right back. I went and got my notes. I got my pencil and my notepad, and I came back to him because I knew God was going to use this guy to teach a lesson to me. To see, whenever something's working, I want to find out. Success leaves clues. You need to get around people who are winning and ask the right questions. Come on, somebody. Ask the right questions. Back in the day when I was in the rap life, I was very successful, and I was around other people that are successful, but I had the wrong question. I used to say, what kind of car you got? What model is that? Instead of saying, how do you think? Because his thinking got that car, right? His work ethic got that car. The books he read got that car. See, I'm asking the wrong question. Common people ask common questions. The greats ask better questions. So I'm sitting here with this guy. His name was Mark. And I said, man, okay, tell me your story, bro. Tell me how you did what you've done. How did you become a millionaire? And he said, man, he said, I learned to own the 30. And I'm writing it down. I'm like, own the 30. What does that mean? What does that mean, own the 30? He said, own the 30. And I'm like, no, I don't. Break it down to me. Let me understand what it is that you're doing and how you did it. He said, okay, I'm going to start you out from the beginning. He said, 3 years ago, he said, when I was 26, 3 years ago, for the summer, I'm in college and I need a job. I got a friend that recommends this solar company, right? They need some door-to-door salesmen. So I go over there, I get the job. I come in on the first day of work, and the boss man, he's happy that I came into work, and he's telling me everything I got to do for the day. And he says, listen, you're not going to make it past the fourth door today knocking. You're just not going to do it. Right. And the guy's like, what do you mean I'm not going to make it past the fourth door? He goes, it's door-to-door sales. You're not going to make it past the fourth door. He said, what do you mean? I'm not going to make it. He kind of got offended, right? That the boss man was saying this to him. He's like, what do you mean I'm not going to make it past the fourth door? He said, you're not going to make it past the fourth door. Nobody does. And he goes, explain that to me. I don't understand what you're saying. Why do people not make it past the fourth door? So he hands Mark this stack of papers like this thick, right? He hands it. He goes, this is everybody that I have hired in the last 2 years. It has how many doors they knocked on, how much they took in for the company, and how much they personally made in commission. Right. And he said he started looking down the columns, right? And everybody that was on this list, page after page after page, had knocked on 3 doors, 4 doors, 2 doors, 4 doors, 4 doors, 3 doors. And that was it. And he said page after page after page after page. He said he'd look over in the commission column, nothing. Sales column, nothing. Just 3 doors gone, 4 doors gone. He said all of this was exactly the like, page after page after page, until he got to the final back page. He said, and then it went from 4 doors to 800 doors, to 1,200 doors, to 3,000 doors, right? Now, he scrolled over at the one who had hit 800 doors. He scrolled over to see how much they had made, and they made 6 figures. So it went from 0 to 6 figures. There was no in between. So he went to the boss man. He said, is this right? He said, right here it says 0. These guys making 0. And the guy knocked on 800 doors, and he made 6 figures. Is this right? And the boss man said, you're absolutely, that's right. He said, but you're not going to make it past the 4th door. Nobody does. He said, I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm going to make it past the 4th door. I promise you that. So he goes home. He gets a vision, like I'm telling you. He set his goals. He got real clear. He said, I dreamed that night. He said, what do I want to achieve? He knew if he was successful in this, he could achieve anything he wanted financially. So he set the goal that night. He said, I am going to be a millionaire before the age of 30. My second goal is I'm going to buy a red Lamborghini before I am 30. Now, he was 26. This is the mindset he was, living in at that time. So he comes into the work the next day, and he finds out why nobody makes it past the 4th door. So what they did was they put all these salesmen on a van, drive to a neighborhood here in Texas in the summer, in the morning, right? In Texas, it gets hot, 105 days, humid, sweaty. So they would drop them off 7 in the morning, divide the streets up. Like, you get that street, you get that street, you get that street. And each of them would go on their own streets and begin door knocking. So you can imagine these guys are going up to a door, knocking on the doors at 7 a.m. to people who did not ask them to come to their house, basically soliciting, selling a high ticket item. Solar was, kind of expensive. It wasn't exactly like a $20 item to people that didn't ask them to come. So you can imagine the response. This is why people didn't make it past the fourth door. They would come up to the first door, he said, knock on the door, and the person would open it up kind of half asleep. And he'd say, hi, I'm Mark. Have you ever thought about buying solar? No, get off my porch. Boom, and slam the door right in his face. Right? He said, oh, there must be, something wrong with them, So he goes to the next door, knock on the door, boom, boom. And they answer, same result. Hi, I'm John. Have you ever thought about saving money with solar? No, get off my porch. Boom, slam the door. He said, now most of these door-to-door salesmen that got hired, this is what happened. By the third door, they're already getting insecure and already getting fearful in their sales approach. By that third door, they're not knocking with the same intensity. By the third door, they're like, just don't slam the door in my face. Have you ever thought about buying something? No! Boom! Slam the door in the face. He said by the fourth door, they're all defeated. They come up to the fourth door and they say, I know you don't want to buy this stuff. Let me just say it and I'll be on my way. He said, this is how normal people that were hired did it. He said, so I knew this. He said, I had to learn to own the 30. And I'm like, oh, here's that own the 30 again. What do you mean by that? He said, listen, between one door and the next door, it took me 30 seconds to walk there. He said, this is where dreams die, is in that 30 seconds. We get defeated here in our mind first. Right? Defeat starts here. Victory and defeat both have the same mother, your thinking. Right? And from door one to door number 2, that 30 seconds in between is where most people give up. Right? Or they carry that defeat over here and it affects the next sale. Right? We get fired for one job and we carry that timidity and that anxiousness and all that. We carry it to the next one. And it affects us. He said, I had to learn to leave the first door at the first door and start fresh. And he said, the way I did that, and the reason I'm here today to thank you is because you helped me own the 30. This is what I would do. He said, as soon as I got dropped off, I'd put my AirPods in. I'd go to YouTube, pull up your champion video, and I'd push pause, right? He said, I go up to the first door and I knock on the door. Hi, Mark, would you, consider buying some solar and saving money on your electric bill? No, boom, the door slammed. And here's what he said he did different than the rest of them. He said he went straight to his phone, pushed play on YouTube, and that champion video came on. I was born a champion, raised a champion. I got champion in my bloodline. All I ever been is a champion. He said by the time he got to that second door, it was beginning to percolate in him and stimulate that greatness in him, right? He's knocking a little bit harder this time. Have you ever thought about buying solar? No. Boom, slam the door. Here again, he pulled that phone out. Hit play on that video. I was born a champion. Nothing can be denied, the one that won't be denied, right? And by the time he's at that third door, where most people are falling off, where most people are giving up, he said, I'm just getting in the state. I'm getting in the mind state, right? That champion greatness mindset. He said, by that third door, I'm knocking on the door. And when they answer, they say, have you ever thought about buying some solar? He said it, and my energy was contagious. And he said the craziest thing happened when I brought that kind of intensity. People responded. They said, oh, how did you know I wanted to buy solar? Did my brother send you over here? We was just talking about solar last night. I'll call my brother over here and you can get both our deals. He said he did this door after door over the summers. He said 2 months ago, here's what happened, Billy, using this own the 30 strategy. He said, I'm not the best salesman. He said, but I had that intensity when I knocked on the door. I left every door at that door and didn't bring it with me. He said, that's why I'm here. You don't necessarily have to be the best salesman, right? But you got to have that mindset. You understand? The mindset is what is going to determine how many doors you can knock on, how many no's you can take. Write this down on your paper. How many no's can I take before I give up on my dream? See, you got to have something to combat the world's no's. I remember Kanye saying this, the greats learn to navigate a world full of no's, right? You got to learn how to do that, right? No does not mean no. Do you understand me? Somebody needs to hear this. Some of the no's you're getting are the biggest yeses you've ever got in your life, but you got to learn how to process them mentally, right? Door after door, he said, I did this. He said, 2 months ago, I became a millionaire. And then he smiled really big and he pulled up his phone. He said, I'm going to show you something. He went to his pictures and he showed me a picture of this brand new red Lamborghini. He said, I'm going to pick this up tomorrow at the dealership. They had to order it, special order it. He said, they called me. They already got it. I just got to go pick it up tomorrow. He said, I'm here to thank you because you helped me own the 30. Right? Now, I want to tell you something funny too. Now, this guy, he was just average looking, just average person, right? But he had this supermodel girlfriend with him, right? So I pulled him to the side, right? And I say, man, I was just being funny with him. I said, man, how you did that? Man, teach me that because I can teach that program too. There's a lot of people in the world want to know how to do that, right? So he laughed. He said, you mean her? I said, yeah, her. He said, oh, I got her because I learned to own the 30. And I'm like, she bought soda from you? He's like, no. He said, listen, man. He said, I asked her out. She said no. I asked her out 29 more times until she said yes. And he said, we getting married next month. Come on, somebody. This works with everything. How many no's can you take? This is rooted right here. This principle is rooted in Galatians 6:9. And let us not grow weary while doing good. For in due season, we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Come on. Basically, if we own the 30, we can do this. Come on, somebody. The bigger the dream that you have, the more you must own your thinking. The bigger the dream you have, the more you must own your thinking. The word says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You must think like a champion. You must speak like a champion. You must do these so much that you begin to walk like a champion. And you know what? You will become a champion. Listen, I know some of you out there, you just on the verge. You're on the verge of breaking through. Now listen, just because you have done something your whole life and acted a certain way and done a certain thing, all your whole life up until this point, that does not mean you have to continue to do it. At any given moment, you can decide to change. Decisions ignite the explosion of change. Do you want to change? Write this down. Am I committed to change? Am I committed to change? Don't put anything on your vision board that you're not committed to achieving, that you're not committed to going all in. I need you to have something. I need you to have something on that board that you're willing to go all in. You say, that's it. That's my reason for being here. God has called me to do that, and I shall achieve it. I will knock on the doors. I will take the no's, the rejections, whatever it takes. Because remember this, your success potential will always be equivalent to the level you're willing to be uneasy. Your success potential will be equivalent to the level of no's that you are willing to take. You got to have what we talked about in the motivational world. You got to have a strong why, a reason to achieve the dream, a reason to achieve the goal. What is your why? Write that down on paper. What is my why? What is my reason that I want what I want? And here's the thing, you need to self-assess that why. Is it strong enough to carry you through the dark times? Is it strong enough to carry you through the dark times? For instance, this Impact 1 Billion, this dream came before COVID happened, okay? I had a full 40-city tour going on right in the middle of the lockdown, right? The president comes on and shuts the world down March 16th. 2020, and I got 40 cities, and everybody came to me and said, hey, are you going to cancel the tour or shut down? I said, no, my dream is bigger than COVID. We ain't got time to stop. What you mean? We ain't retreating. Matter of fact, we're getting more aggressive. You got to have a strong why. You get 86,400 seconds a day. You need to squeeze the life out of every single one of them. Come on, don't waste no time. Let's get to living. Let's get to doing what you know you're called to do. Write this down. What am I called to do? Some of you have been running. It's in my spirit right now. I'm going to speak to you. Some of you in this room have been running from what God has called you to do. You know it. You know it. That's got to stop right now. Right? I saw a quote earlier on a page that just dumbfounded me. It's so powerful. It was God cannot bless who you pretend to be. He can only bless the one he made you to be. You understand me? Let's stop pretending. You know, there's a thing about imposter syndrome. Really, you know, they say imposter syndrome, like when a person gets successful, they begin to doubt that that's really them. And they think that they're being an imposter, right? I see it the other way. I think this lower version of us is the imposter, right? This is the imposter. This is not the one God called us to be. Let's rise up. Let's dedicate 24 to being that highest version of us. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to challenge you now. We're about to close out here. I want to challenge you with this question. Write this down. What could I accomplish and achieve if for the next 6 months, I went all in on me? All in on me. Come on, somebody. And what I mean by that, I mean dedicating yourself to being the highest version of you. Improving your mind and your knowledge every day, reading about things that make you better. Personal development, reading the scriptures every day, getting that truth inside you. Staying disciplined on your eating plan, working out, getting your body vitalized and energized to do the things that God has called you to do, getting around the right people, right? The things that you have been backing off of because you've been afraid. Instead of running this time, you stepped up and faced them. Instead of kneeling, you rose. Come on. What could you do? What could you achieve? And for just 6 months, you went all in. Listen, there's not been a time in your life that you have fully shown your capability. Don't go to the grave saying, I never showed the world my true capability. Come on, I'm challenging somebody right now. Can you do this for 6 months? If you can do it for 6 months, you can do it for a lifetime. I'm challenging you for 6 months to be the best version of you. Come on, you are meant for more. You are meant for more than that 9 to 5. You are meant for more than that just over broke. Somebody needs to hear this. I'm challenging you to be the best version of you. Now listen, here's what you need though. If you're going to go to the next level, you need a blueprint. And here's what's going to happen. You need a blueprint and you need somebody to hold you accountable. You need somebody to hold you accountable. Okay, listen, you are 90% more likely to achieve your goals and dreams if you have somebody holding you accountable every single week. Come on, somebody. Now listen, this is what I'm going to do. Tonight, I am starting a mentorship masterclass to make you the best version of you. Okay, this class is a success program that will challenge you to take action. It will challenge you to stop making excuses. You can only go as far as your excuse. Come on, somebody. This program will hold you accountable every single week to being that best version of you. It's starting tonight. I've got limited seats because here's what I'm going to do. With this program, every month, we're going to get on the phone, me and you, one-on-one. We're going to do one-on-ones every month, okay? Listen, I'm going to be on the phone with you for an hour outside of the Zooms. We're going to do Zooms, 90-minute Zooms every week on Tuesday, okay? Then every month, I'm going to get on the phone one-on-one and we're going to discuss how to get you to that next level. Come on, somebody. Now, the group I'm putting together is a special group. I don't want anybody in my group that's not committed. If you ain't committed to you, this ain't for you. I want hungry people. I say this, I only want to be with the sick and hungry. The sick, tired, and hungry. What I mean by that, sick of being average, tired of being mediocre, and hungry enough to do something about it. That's what I'm looking for. Is that you? If it's you, I want you to sign up for this class tonight. Listen to me. Here's how you sign up for it. It's blessedandunstoppable.com. When you go there, click on the coaching link, and you'll see the mentorship program. I want you to sign up. If greatness is what you're looking for, if the best version of you is what you want, if you are tired of being average, if you want a life with purpose, if you want to live on fire, if you want to have meaning, if you need somebody to hold you accountable, this is for you. It's not for everybody. This is for the committed. Now listen, I'm going to be walking through this program for 6 months, okay? Every Tuesday night, 90-minute Zoom, okay? Every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Central Time, 90 minutes. I'm going to be teaching out of this book, the principles that are in here, the blueprint. There's 31 success principles we're going to be going over, right? Now, listen, everything I'm going to teach in this group, what separates this group from every other group out there, there's a lot of motivation out there. There's a lot of personal development people and life coaches out there. Everything I'm going to teach is rooted in the word. That is the difference. Right? We're not going to sell our soul for success. We're going to stay rooted in the word, and the word is going to make us successful. The word is going to prove itself. Right? So success outside the word is not success. Come on, somebody. Now, listen, if that's you, I want you in this class. I want you in this class, but only if it's you. Because listen, the way we do it in this class, I set up a WhatsApp group too, of everybody that's in this group. Every single day we're interacting. Every single day we're sowing over each other. Not only are you going to get fed, but you're going to have an opportunity to impact other people. I empower people to empower other people. I empower people to save the world, to impact the world. You understand that? That's what I do because I'm on that road to 1 billion. I've got to empower you to be the best version of you. And then you're going to multiply that into other people. You're going to sow into other people. We're going to strengthen each other in this group because we can do more together. See, when you feel like falling off, when you don't feel like going to the gym, when you don't feel like doing the right things with your money, when you feel like backing down and you're too scared to do this, you're going to have a support group around you that says, no, we want the highest version of you and we will settle for nothing less but that version. If that's what you want, come to this group. Now here, I challenge every single one of you that's in here. When we get off this Zoom, pray about it. I want you to say, Lord, if this is for me, let me know. I don't want anybody in this group that God didn't tell you to be in this group. Go home. As soon as this Zoom's off, close your eyes and say, Lord, if this is for me, make it known. And just sit in the spirit. If it's of you, I welcome you. Listen, I know I'm not called to everybody. But if you're called to this, if God put it in the spirit, make sure you obey that calling. I promise you. This is the third master class that I have done like this for 6 months. The first two, they winning. They winning. Listen to me. They winning. You could be winning too. I just got off an island in the Caribbean from one of my clients that went from sleeping in a car to a $400 million island they own in the Caribbean. Go to my Facebook. You'll see the pictures. Went from living in a car 7 years later to buying this island. Come on, you can do it too. God is so willing to bless you. All you got to do is tap into this truth. Pray over this group. Ask God if it's for you. And if it's for you, I'm going to see you tonight. 7 o'clock Central Time, 90 minutes, we're going to get it in. I'm going to teach you what you need to know to go to the next level. Man, I just thank y'all for coming on the Zoom tonight. Whether you come tonight with the program or not, I wish you nothing but the greatest version of you. I wish nothing but the best in your life. May no weapon formed against you prosper. May your family be prosperous and abundant. May your health be that the way God intended for it to be. May every muscle, cell, tissue, fiber, joint, ligament, bone, organ, nerve system in your body function the way God intended for it to function. I love you. And I just thank you for coming on. Bear, I'm going to turn it back over to you, brother.
All right. On the 30, I'm telling you, that one thing right there, I mean, vision and adding value are so important. But what you're allowing to reside in your mind is just, that's one that just truly resonates with me. And what he shared with you in regards to the class tonight, that is going to allow you to take ownership of every crevice of your mind in regards to owning that 30. And for those of you that join us tonight, we look forward to you being there. I want you to also think about this, though. If you're in a place where the financially it's a challenge. Number one, he does have a payment plan with this course, but also do what I did for the first. He didn't have these courses just until recently. For the first 2 years, I did not know him, but I knew him because I listened to him every day. So what I definitely urge you to do is subscribe to his channel on YouTube. Every week for the last 7-8 years, he has put out a new video, and that's not going to change. And I can tell you, there are videos that I listen to probably 100 times because I'm taking in that message. So before we get off, I'm gonna give you two gifts here. Number one, everyone that's subscribed through Eventbrite to be here today, later today, I will send you out this recording, so that you have it. Because I highly urge you to look at this over and over and over. There's things you're gonna pick up, you're gonna be like, I don't know, they must have added some new video footage in here. I don't remember Billy saying it the first time. That's because you're growing and you're seeing things differently as you continue to listen to it. So I'm gonna send you this video, and then I'm also gonna send you his YouTube video that talks about these three principles that he talked about today. And what I did, same thing. I wasn't not door knocking, but the first 20 minutes of my morning, I spent listening to Dr. Billy Alsbrooks. He set the tone for my day. You know, they say the breakfast is the most important meal of the day because it helps you to get your day started off right physically. How are you getting your day started off right mentally? What are you feeding your mind? I'm feeding my mind Dr. Billy Alsbrooks every morning. So I want to be able to give you that gift so that you can start seeing those transformations in your life as well. So before we leave, I know everybody's on mute now. I want you each to just come, before you sign off, just come on and just say a great thank you to Dr. Billy Alsbrooks for being here, and then you can go ahead and sign off.
Hey, give me 1 second, Barry.
All right, okay.
Listen, I want to repeat this one time. blessedandunstoppable.com. That's where you sign up. Now, here's another thing. If you got any questions about the program, listen, call us straight up. I'm gonna give you the number right here. Write this number down. 407-310-3275. I'm gonna say it again. 407-310-3275. If you got any questions, if you need prayer, whatever it is, I want you to give us a ring.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and say your thank you, and we bid you farewell after that.
Thanks, Billy. I appreciate you.
Billy.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Billy. This was awesome.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
Unstoppable.
I
God
appreciate
bless
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
God bless
much.
you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Blessings.
Hope to see y'all
Thank you
tonight.
very much.
Well, thank
Thank you,
Amen.
Barry. Thank you,
God
Barry, as well. I
bless you.
appreciate all you
Thank
do.
you, Billy, Dr. Billy.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
Thank you for the mentorship.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank y'all.
Y'all have an
Thank y'all
awesome
for
day. Thank
coming today.
All right, thank you,
God
everyone.
bless you.
Yes, Dr.
Oh, that's good.
I'm really excited to be able to introduce this gentleman as someone that I got to know online for many years prior to getting to know him in person.
Man, shut up.
Make sure to mute yourself.
Listen. I hate niggers. We're living on our.
Some folks just got to be removed.
That's the enemy. That's the enemy. God is good.
You sure?
God is good, man. God is good.